All right. It looks like we're live. If I didn't mess anything up this time. So welcome everyone. Today we're going to be doing a fan battle between Chuni and Vedanta, and it's going to be great. So let's see if I can get the players into a game. Okay, so Vedanta also wants to be streaming his commentary. We're going to do a post-mortem at the end too, so you're not going to miss anything by being in this stream. But I think he needs a minute to get in the game. I'm just communicating with the players right now. And I hope you guys can forgive me for this, like, lackluster layout. And also for the fact that I'm going to eat breakfast right in front of your face on stream. I was slow because I didn't get in bed until like 3 a.m. It's 8 local on the dot right now. So I guess I'm kind of getting into like grandpa status in terms of how I handle my late nights and then early mornings. So here we are. With me, haven't even had my coffee. This is can't miss stuff, that's true. Why is the chat upside down? It doesn't matter. I mean, you can deal with it, right? Upside down chat, psh, we've seen worse, it's 2020. Alright, coffee. I'm sure John Brosnan can relate. Captain Crunch? No, it's a slice of panettone, which is not really that big of a step up from Captain Crunch. Let's see. Which website are we gonna play? Yeah, it's Light Chess, that's correct. Hi Pratik. Why are so many people awake at like 8 a.m.? Alright, so I'm in Central Time. I guess you guys are all awake at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So I guess that makes a little bit more sense. Alright, let me see if I can just directly spectate like Mr. Chuni. So I feel like we need kind of like a WWE style intro. Like, I don't know. I don't remember how they start usually. Like, we promised you an exciting night, like that kind of thing, and then they introduce the players like at barely 35 kilograms in this corner, Vedanta, or maybe that's like more boxing. I don't know. And in this corner, we have Chuni with more than 5,000 tactics under his belt. So we've got that kind of thing going. I feel like I have to like pick up the mic and like scream into it for that full sporting event feel. I gotta like throw my hands up and be like, wanna play? No, I'm just kidding. So, let's see. Players are still getting ready, so let me see. Some people say they can't join in because it's the Lord's Day. Understandable. I don't have to serve any Lords, so here I am streaming on Sunday. Yeah, let's get ready to rumble, that kind of thing. Let's get ready to rumble! My neighbors are gonna hate me. Oh wait, I don't have neighbors. That's great. I mean, if I have them, I'm sure they'll come let me know. Yeah, we need some kind of like hype music, like the Space Jam intro or something. Oh, it looks like they're in a game. How do I? There we go, TV. All right, guys, let's see if we can see it. I asked them to. Yeah, what is this box with the upside down chat? This is some mensch. Let's see. Yeah, get out of here. There we go. I'll make a new one. The players are free to start. And John's going to church soon. You and like half the world, sir. Well, maybe not soon, but soonish. Anyway, you can always catch the replay. Let's see. So we've got a Scotch, very predictable. I think more than half of all of Vedanta's games are in the Scotch. And they're off to the races. Early castling line, I think that, yeah, knight e4 is the move that I kind of expected here. And there's this neat tactic that comes up. I guarantee the players know it. It's knight c3. Yeah, this is a cool idea. You can put the queen in like a million different places, but which one? All right, so he chooses h5. That's a good choice. Hold on, let me just snag a browser. Window capture, I guess. I'll try this. Nope, didn't work. Bishop e6. Interesting choice. Now, that is something. The queens are off. And I have a strong feeling that we're going to see some back rank action in this game. I don't want to say too much just in case. But now the players are thinking for the first time in the game. I guess there's a lot to deliberate for Chuni, who is the higher rated player, at least on paper. That's not shade. I'm just saying that, you know, on this server, that's the rating, and, you know, these things fluctuate a lot across various servers. Chuni is a very active player. He's on Chess24 and all that stuff. And I think he might even start streaming soon, so I highly encourage you guys to check out Chuni's stuff. And of course, Vedanta is starting his own streaming thing as well. He's already kicked it off, and I think he would enjoy any support that you guys have to offer him. So we can look forward to more stuff from these guys. And as you can see, the sun is rising. That's great. I don't know what I would do if it didn't. Well, actually, I guess I do. Alright, I'm going to try browser capture instead of... I want you guys to be able to see the clock, so just give me a minute to fix it. I'm just going to call it window capture, and just going to make it really crazy nonsense. Oops. Too crazy, too nonsense. Pardon me for my snipping on stream. There we go. Not too bad. Hey Dinesh, good to see you. I feel like I don't see any of you guys these days, which is kind of odd, I guess. Alright, so it looks like the knights are off, and white is completing development, but black is the bishop pair. For how long, though, since the bishops are on pre. Vedanta saved a lot of time coming out of the opening, but all that matters at the end of the game is checkmate, so it remains to be seen what that edge will demonstrate. And here we're going into a bishop versus knight imbalance, it looks like. And rook on the 7th, as they say, is really good. That's what I've heard anyway. I think that if you guys are really into this 7th rank concept, a little birdie told me that a certain Boris Gelfand is putting out a book on heavy piece end games, and I guess maybe some pseudo middle game positions, because, you know, they have some middle game character, these heavy game positions. I mean heavy piece positions. And I believe there's going to be a big section dedicated to just the rook on the 7th. So that's a collaboration between Gelfand and Aaaand, if I'm not mistaken. He just came out with technical decision making, which I have not cracked because, let's face it, I'm broke, please donate. And so this one, it will be after that. I think it's not even announced. I'm not completely sure. Invincible Insight said, imagine they're watching the stream. I bet Vedanta would do that. I'm just going to call him out right now for his shenanigans. Observe how a really big think is needed, like as soon as the rook appears in the 2nd rank, you know? It's not like you can easily play at this point. Gotta be precise or just get rolled. And is that a precise move or what? However, I think we're going to see a persistent presence of the rook. Yeah, rook d8 makes a lot of sense. Now things are slowly starting to like kind of hang a bit. So a2 is right there, hanging just slightly. You might think that the bishop will get stuck with b3, but then there's bishop b1, so there's kind of interesting ideas here. But of course, like white is not forced to give the a pawn. After all, there's also counterplay on the e file. You can always claim counterplay and compensation in like any position. Mate in one, I have compensation. Compensation for getting checkmated is that you get to play another game, right? There's a balance in all things. At least that's what I heard from a monk on a mountain or something. I do like these end games. I feel like it's nice how they just cruise directly into a tense position, despite the fact that it's a rapid and the rules of chess don't apply in rapid. So, principled play, even though there's no time to actually make the principled play. Lots of interesting ideas here. I used to get positions like this a lot when I was a beginner. I only ever moved 2 pawns. I was like, why would I want to move another pawn? You know, after I move the e pawn, the d pawn, everybody's out. Duh. So this position reminds me of that. I used to get positions like this a lot. But now I just get chaotic, stupid positions that I don't want. And that's why I was better when I was a beginner. Oh, I just noticed that John runs the service. That must be an honor. Is b3 any good? Good question. I didn't want to analyze it, but now he's played h3. Actually, maybe I still shouldn't say, but b3 is definitely an idea, right? It's not like it wrecks your structure or anything. It's just a small change, but it is kind of like the way that Chuni would say is like it's a tickle, you know. When you play b3, all the dark squares get kind of weak, and you might say, so what? No dark square bishop, no knight, but it can kind of add up. It comes in somewhere. But it was not forced to play b3. For example, all right, he played a5, but if he played like bishop a2, I think there's more than one way that he could have tried to recover. For example, rook a4. Maybe not the best way to recover the pawn, because you play like bishop b1, rook takes a7, something like that. You lose maybe 2 pawns, but there's counterplay. It'll be like rook a8 check, and then you can start harassing the kingside pawns when the bishop is busy. I think it would end in a draw if you just give the pawn. So it might be prudent at some point. Oh, Kushagra B is commenting in the game chat that this might be a draw, but if any of the players make a blunder, it will be losing. Well, you're not wrong. If any player makes a blunder, they might be losing. That's true. But I really hope that the players can't see the... Oh, it's called spectator room. It's not the chat. It's just in the same place as the chat. Okay, so no spoilers. I like this thoughtful play, but I feel like it's also going to end in just a blitz out. What happened to my cam? I don't know. What happened to my cam? You tell me. So king f1, centralizing the king, logical. I feel like there's some tactical things going on here, though, that might complicate that. We'll definitely look at that in the postmortem. Just saying. Yeah, Dinesh is also saying it looks like a draw. Well, I don't know why you guys are calling it a draw so easily. The reason I said it might be a draw if you give the a pawn is because it leads almost by force to a rook endgame. And the rook endgame is one where you have 3 versus 3 on the king side and 2 versus 2 on the queen side. And if you like, well, not 2 versus 2, it'd be like 2 versus 1 on the queen side. So like maybe black has some slight pull, but white is getting in and might claim one of the kingside pawns, in which case we have 2 very minor majorities that are opposed, and both kings not active. So that's what I was calling a draw. But as it is, like the knight on e3 is pretty good, but it's still a knight. And White's king is getting a little active maybe, but this rook on the second rank is pretty good. The thing is, the rook might get kicked with king e1 or some similar moves. So black has to make good of that immediately if they're going to try to make a statement. Pratik, this is not necessarily a draw, it's just balanced. There's a big difference. Like, the first position in chess is balanced, right? It's just like everything is the same, but white gets to go, and it's super complicated, so there's no reason that the first move should really give you an advantage. So we don't shake hands on the first move to say good game, we shake hands to say good luck. We can play in equal position. And here comes b6. So he's kind of saying, I am not worried about my rook on d2. More interested in establishing this interesting pawn structure. Just to take a sort of unrelated turn, I'd like to mention that because the rook moves in something that's called a taxicab geometry, this is the most difficult formation to capture with a rook. It takes 5 moves. At least for 3 pawns, it's the most difficult. If they were all lined up, it would take only 3 moves. So this says something interesting about the geometry of chess. And that's something that comes up in abstract geometry, which is math. So the rook's on pre, and as long as Chuni doesn't mouse slip or get distracted by his kid, he's going to be fine on this move. Yep, there we go. Rook d6. Now the onus is on white. What's he going to do? We have 7 minutes left in the game. And Vedanta has kind of squandered his time advantage. I'm okay at 10 minute. I think I might be like 23 or 2400 in 10 minute on light chess, but I haven't really played recently. So I think I might be qualified to say that a certain amount of extra time goes a long way, because even if you have the most winningest position, you can get blitzed out. You know, there's no increment, so it's important to consider such things. All right, looks like Chuni was anticipating g4 because he played king d7 faster than almost any other move in the game since like move 5. And Vedanta offered a draw and black instantly declined. So you can see that even if this is equal, like, the players are not playing it for a draw. There's a lot to be said still in this position. This is interesting. We have like the Space Invaders formation where it looks like the little aliens on top of each other. These two are kind of hugging the b4 square. These two are kind of hugging the b3 square, but this is a more defensive setup. b6 is potentially weak, but you know, like, once you start pushing the pawns, they can get weak one by one, so it doesn't really say that much, I guess. Still a lot going on in the position before we can, like, say who's better because of c5 or b3. But position's tense. We've got 5 minutes left in the match. Not in the match, in the game. And some of these moves I maybe somewhat disagree with, and I'll be interested to see what the players have to say in the postmortem. We're not going to do the postmortem until the very end. We're gonna like go through all the games and check the highlights. So if you guys have any moments you want to see, make sure you mention it when we reach that analysis part. That's probably the most informative and what's the word for it? Educational part of today's stream. I mean, I can say what I want while I sit here with my coffee and my panettone. The clock's not ticking for me. But I have a feeling that maybe black is losing the thread. I don't know if that's a fair statement, though. Even in like the worst kind of world, it's a rook endgame. I have a feeling black just noticed that b6 was hanging. That was kind of in the air. Will there be any other fan battles? Yeah, challenge someone. I will commentate, but I want you to say something in the Discord. So, hit us up in the Discord if you want to have a grudge match. I think that you should be within like 200 points of your opponent. I think that would be the most fair. I don't want you to like challenge someone who's like 800 if you're 1800. I think that would not make a very entertaining match to commentate. It'd be like, oh, they blundered. Oh, they blundered again. You know, I want something a little more, some spice of life. Not to say like people are bad or anything. We can enjoy chess and derive a lot of satisfaction and learning moments from chess for sure, no matter what our level is. But I just mean like for the purpose of match commentary, it's good to have a close matchup. Right. Yeah, now it's definitely interesting. That's for sure. I actually really like black's chances because in rook end games, I mean things are getting very very tactical right now, so I might have to eat my hat in a second. But in these rook end games, king activity, rook activity, and having a pass pawn are the three main factors. Material is not really a factor. So while white's pawn is very far advanced, black's king is, I would say, substantially more active, and black's rook is substantially more active. Because generally, in positions like this, you should not lead with the rook in front of the pawn. The rook is almost always better behind the pawn or on the side of the pawn. Like, in front of the pawn is usually not good. Although, positions of this character, called, like, Ventura positions, they are well studied. It's very relevant to study positions with the rook in the front. But usually we don't put the rook in front because we want to. We do it because we have to. And here, okay, so we've got rook h5. I'm not going to go back and point out moves. Now, here there's a very accurate move for black, which, ooh, that was not it, but white is not capitalizing. This is a crazy moment where it seems like both players are unaware of a theoretical rook endgame and a tactical motif associated. Like, white is just letting black push the pawn. That's crazy. Okay, it looks like white has spotted the tactical resource. I mean, maybe. We'll see. It's a very tricky moment to be alive. Because now, black is so close to promoting that it's kind of like this tactical idea that white has doesn't even matter. You know, like if they promote the pawn right now, we are going to see just rook takes h8. So we're probably going to see a swap of the powerful passed pawns, which is basically like both players blundered, because this was a much more interesting position before. And it's likely to peter out into a draw. Like, I know it's 2 versus 1, but material doesn't really matter that much. I don't see where white's play is really coming from, especially now. No big chances here. Yeah, I think that pawn is almost dead. It's really gonna be a down to the wire, seconds only finish. It's almost like we're in pre-moveville. Yeah, that was a pre-move. Who has the better connection? This will decide the match. Alright, so white won this one by the skin of his teeth, and it's time for the rematch. We're going to have 2 10-minute games. This is the second one. You guys are seeing it now, right? Should be, yep. And here, Chuni has white, Vedanta's on the black. I'm going to just keep Vedanta's perspective each time, for consistency's sake. That first one was extremely lucky. The Ventura endgame is one where you have to put the king on b7, and Chuni basically lost only because he didn't put his king on that square at his first opportunity. And white actually missed the opportunity to play rook a8 for like 4 moves in a row, and it became an interesting position again. So maybe if I feel like Black had the real pull in that position if he just didn't play king to c7. We'll have to ask him about his decision afterwards. But here we are in a Nimzo, and it looks like Vedanta is out for blood with Black. But I'm not sure this is an advisable strategy to play like with d5, c5, and c4. Granted, I also don't know very much about positions of this character, so I may have to eat my hat again if he has some kind of fantastic thing going on here. Yeah, why did he not play rook a8 quickly, right? I think it's just because people are not studying their endgames that well. I mean, did you know that rook a8 was the winning move? Like, as soon as you saw the position? I think only if you train it, that's going to happen. And honestly, it's at the front of my mind because I work a lot on rook endgames. I don't get a lot of rook endgames because my openings are like crazy sharp, and honestly, I'm not that happy with my opening prep at this point. But you know, I know my rook endgames. I've worked my way around a Manhattan metric before. Nimzo, yay. Okay, looks like we got a Nimzo fan here. I really like white already, just saying. Black has produced a queenside majority that'll be useful in the endgame, but this stone wall is very effective when the bishop on this diagonal is unopposed. So I have a good feeling here for white. It has more space. In order for Black to disrupt that, he'd have to make some drastic moves. So, all right, Dinesh is throwing the JB hashtag. Did he do a segment on rook endgames or what? Or are you just repping Chessable and their free endgame segment? They do have a free book on rook endgames. So if people are interested in what exactly happened at the end of the last game, I do recommend checking out that free book. Alright, Dinesh confirms that there are rook endgame videos by John Bartholomew, so you guys can all check that out. Alright, little snip there. I have a feeling that Black's going to try to drop a dog on e4, but instead we're seeing this somewhat more passive move, knight d7. I don't really know where the knight is going. Yeah, it does look good here. Because if you take on e5, it just opens the f file. I think it's not necessarily a good idea. And here goes the d pawn after all. The knight was busy, and now he's just MIA. I think this is a wash. Opening disaster. The first one was maybe a scratch for Chuni. Maybe he's showing his final form in the second of the 10-minute. The match will be decided by 4 games. The next 2 are 5-minute games, so we're going to see a lot more of this happening in those games. So it's not critical that he wins this game per se. It's still a match, but it's not like we're playing 13 games. So now I don't know about you, but if I were Black, I would be worried severely, particularly about a certain famous pawn whose name starts with an F. Everybody knows Freddy, world famous pawn. Excuse me. And he settles in for a deep think. It's tricky when you play super fast and get a losing position, because you need to think really hard anyway to save your position, so it's just better to think in the first place. No, maybe we could, while he's thinking, consider what happens here. So, first of all, I had some suspicions about this c4 idea. Just closing the queen side. Is Vedanta's internet out? I don't think so. Hold on, let's check. No, I think he's here. He's even streaming. I mean, we're not going to claim a win from disconnect. We didn't expressly agree to that, but I'm pretty confident that Chuni will not claim it, since we're playing a match. It just might not be right. Maybe I could just check the Discord real quick. Okay, so Chuni's messaging me. So he's not on Discord either. I think he just had some maybe Wi-Fi issues. But that's a little dramatic if true. Speaking of patron wing, I would like to do a life donation for Light Chess. But I still kind of like the funds. So if you guys feel up to donating, I eventually will like scrape it together so I can have that wing next to my face. I mean my name. And it'll go to a good cause. Our joint effort. Light Chess, the free, open source, transparent, non-partisan, antediluvian chess. Yeah, I don't know what's up with Vedant. I think he might be having technical issues. I'm gonna check out his stream real quick. I think he's streaming on Twitch, so that should not be hard. I mean, if it's a rage quit, that would be really disappointing, but okay. What can you do, right? I think he disconnected, yeah. I hope it's not one of those things where they're like, okay, time for breakfast, and he's like, yay, breakfast. I feel like that would be not good. I mean, relatable. I think everybody here is down for breakfast, but yeah, I think Light Chess is a superior server while we're on the topic. Let's actually go to the early part of this game and just chat about it a bit. So, again, this is not an area of expertise for me. I mean, I learned chess basically when I was an adult, and I played e4 early on because that's what Paul Morphy played. And so I didn't really get a lot of experience with different openings early on, and now I'm at the point in my life where I don't have time to learn like every opening. But anyway, I'm pretty confident that in the Nimzo, they go for bishop b4 first, before d5. Because it's not always good to aim for this Rogozin pawn structure and piece arrangement, which is with d5. However, in this situation, probably he wanted to switch for Rogozin or something like that because when you play knight f3, bishop b4 is met with bishop d2. So I'm pretty confident that that's a strong idea for white. You just never get any structural problems. You have a little bit more development in space. So d5, I don't know about that. Might be just slightly inaccurate. I'm not going to say it's like a losing move, but if you're aiming for a Nimzo, this is maybe not the way you should do it. There's more flexible move orders. Anyway, this bishop g5 move is very double-edged. I think more mainstream move is queen c2. So maybe he got out of his prep with bishop g5. I feel like bishop g5 is a very natural move, though. Like if you've been playing this opening, you should probably know bishop g5. If black goes for like h6, white cannot play a3. That's kind of an idea in some positions to just counterattack. The reason it doesn't work is bishop c3 is check. So against h6, I think the idea is to just take directly on f6, and then we'll see queen f6. And I don't know if white would throw in queen a4 check to try to force knight c6, or play queen b3 maybe to get kind of a worry-free version. All right, so Dinesh says that he has some theory under his belt, and he can confirm some of my suspicions. So castling into the bishop g5 thing, I'm a little suspicious about that. It might be fine. I know there are some French positions that have the same kind of pawn structure. I mean, white has played e4, but it's like, for black it's similar. There's some where they take and take back with the g pawn. Oh, Vedanta's back. Took a little break. I think we can safely say that this position is not attributable to time pressure, though. Alright. He's down for the count, but, you know, it's not over till the fat lady sings, as they say. Yep, that was almost a mate threat, so g6 seems pretty reasonable. We might see like h4, h5 action, but, you know, patience, paddle on, no need for drastic measures. We might also see like d5, some different ideas. He might just play some tricky move, like just anything, to get Vedanta to scramble a little bit with his 2.7 seconds. This next game is going to be 5-minute, by the way, so we're going to see a little bit more action. Queen c6 is I think it's a good move. Oop. Time pressure problems. .58 seconds left. I feel like latency time is even less than that. Alright. So black times out. If they're timing out in the 10-minute, I mean, who knows what's going to happen in 5 minutes. I think they're going to create their new custom 5-minute challenge. So it's probably going to take them a minute before we see a new game. I don't think White's finish was like a photo finish in this game, but it got the job done, right? You know, he has a couple seconds left, so can't knock it. I think d5 is very convincing, because like queen e3 check is not really anything. Like d5, bishop d5, queen d5, queen e3 check, king h1, queen c3, it's just not useful. In that position, there's bishop takes g6. I think that's pretty strong. Even a move like rook a d8 hitting the queen just doesn't matter. Here, let me check and see if they're in a game. They are not yet. Mouse skills. I have no mouse skills. I'm just like, whenever I have to play bullet or something, hand cramps up. I'm like, oh no, and I just can't do it anymore. I wish I could do like voice commands. Be like, Siri e4, Siri knight f3, Siri. No, just kidding. That'd be cool though. All right, the 5-minute is on. Both players are connected. Vedanta's green wing lit up right there, and we've got d4 on the board. Looks like the players are maybe on paper more evenly matched in this time control, with Chuni at 2020 and Vedanta at 2001. 2001, good year. Well, not for everyone, I guess I should say. I always say good year, even if it was like 1492 or some other sensitive year like that. I'm always like, that's a good year. But honestly, 2001 was not that great, and it's been downhill since then. So I guess I take it back, is what I'm saying. Not that it was much better the year Charlemagne was born. Ooh, interesting. He gives a pawn. He taketh the pawn. As he giveth, he also taketh. Usually in the Grunfeld kind of positions, knight f6 happens really early. Occasionally you can get it without knight f6, but since he played knight f6 There are no cool move order tricks here. It's just like a pure Grunfeld. And we've transposed, but with e5. Actually, no, this is not a perfect transposition, because usually bishop g7 comes in and then c5. So what is going on here? 2020 is in fact a dumpster fire year, Dinesh. Yes, that's true. If 2020 was a lady, I would not date her. It's not a good time. So this looks like white is taking some Lebensraum, really clamping down on the center. The piece play is maybe more advisable than c4, which is like moving the same piece again and again. Like really, you move your b pawn 3 times in the opening. Not 3 times, but if they take and take back, it might be. Okay, interesting. I feel like shenanigans are underway. The players are coming in hot, which is what we like to see. A5 is predictable, but I'm not sure it's to black's advantage. I guess we'll see. Oh, I think I understand what Amoga was asking earlier about my camera. The strobe, like, I think it's trying to pick up how pale I am, and it's having trouble. The sun's rising. That's also a thing. I'm gonna try to get my camera to stop strobing. One sec. Yeah, Dinesh says it's a wet day in North Carolina. I mean, that's kind of just true across the Southeast in general right now. I'm in Baton Rouge, and it's, I wouldn't say it's wet. It's very humid. There's no rain, but it's a little bit dark, consequently. All right, so while I was adjusting things, things kind of proceeded along expected lines with white playing a4. And, very ambitious play with pawn takes c6. I don't think it's unjustified, though. I have some misgivings about black's play. For example, he has no dark square bishop, so if the pawn's on a dark square, this could be really difficult, but it remains to be seen if black's activity will compensate. I have a suspicion that it will, like, not make it, but just barely. We'll see. I don't want to give every line that I'm calculating when it's possible that some sneaky people are listening in before they make their moves. Not that I don't trust them. Dinesh, it's just hard to match you in your chattiness. I think that's what it is. What's the word for it? Lugubrious? No, it's loquacious when you talk too much. Well, not too much, but a lot. To me, like, I guess it's ironic as a streamer that I think that almost any amount of talking is too much talking. But hey, what can you do? So Chuni's playing this like it's a classical game with a second time control, because he now has 1 minute and 36 seconds. Oh, maybe he heard me. Just kidding. So this seems like maybe a kind of timid move. No offense meant, of course. But I'm just curious about what is going on here. Oh, I see some ideas. It's interesting. Let's see what happens here. Wow, that's a check. I'm not sure it quite works out. Okay. So the C pawn lives to fight another day, but Eddie is not okay, as Michael Jackson might say. The moves are flying out the gate for white. Black is keeping pace, but it looks like we might have another situation with mutual pawn races. This is a move that that probably is making Chuni chuckle. Rook d5 is kind of a meme move for us. It's just very strong sometimes. Oh, what's going on here? Tactics. It's what we like. But I feel like this was such a swindle play. Let me see. So king d6, not even necessary. Alright, they're playing moves. Another rook endgame. I think that White's play's been a little bit naive in this rook endgame as well. Maybe king d5 was better, but he's worried about f2, something like that. A draw on the board. Okay. So the match is even right now. It's 1.5. Very interesting match so far. Alright, Vedanta's confirmed that he was having web issues. And we're seeing a repeat position here. Yeah, exact repeat with bishop e6. But I think knight g5 is not what we had last time, because we saw a queen swap with knight d4 or something. I think this is the main line, though, for white anyway. I disagree slightly with black's play, but I don't really want to get into a theoretical battle about this. h3, interesting. I wonder if he really intends to, like, play g4. I find that unlikely. I guess he wants to move the knight and just doesn't want queen h2. That makes a lot of sense. But black has a free hand in this position. Like, where's the dark square bishop gonna go? Like d2? I find it unlikely. The knight cannot take on d4 because of shenanigans. Next point wins, that's right, but we will have an Armageddon playoff in the event of a complete tie. Like, if they tie this game, then that's that. Okay, so I think black still retains some small edge here. Maybe not. Queen is hanging. Knight is hanging. What to do, right? I thought black had a small edge, like in this position, but h6 is probably too passive. Like, I know he's trying for a pawn break, but it's too slow, as evidenced by the fact that we now have yet another endgame. I think if Chuni could just play all my opening for me, I would always like to play his endgame positions, but I think he's maybe not having that much luck. You know, positions are good, but yeah, rook e4, bishop h2 was an interesting trick, but here we have yet another rook endgame. Sounds like the name of a chess cafe. Yet another rook endgame. I say that because there's a place called something like Another Broken Egg out here in Baton Rouge, which I think is a really funny name. The rook on b3 is looking a little awkward. Everybody knows someone who's like that rook, you know? The one who's like always raising their hand to ask something that the teacher just said. Yeah, that's the rook on b3 right now. Yeah, king's coming in. See, Chuni knows his basics about rook endgames. You gotta get your king in. It's kind of like how you have to hit the cue ball in snooker. You know, if you don't do it, it's like you're not even playing. In the endgame, you gotta get your king in. Okay, so we're seeing some small action. Like, black has a long plan, but it's kind of inevitable. So I think Barry is going to feel very uncomfortable. Or the rook, I'm not sure which one. Here, after a4, oh, that was not the decision that I expected. I thought b4 and just playing against the bad rook, but maybe he was concerned about g5. And this way, I think white should not have taken on b5. Maybe he had no choice, but I just didn't notice because it's fast. But this passed pawn on the a file fully compensates black for their time. In fact, I think black is totally winning after rook a2. It's just way too passive. He had to go... the phrase I was going to use is not really okay for the air, so I think I'll just save that one. Ooh, this is a terrible moment. Ugh, b4. Discover attack. And it's down to the wire. White's king is extremely close. There's pawns on the board. What's going on here? Shenanigans. This is a very desperate try from black. But it seems white is maybe hypnotized. I think this was not accurate in terms of searching for counterplay, but we could talk about that in the postmortem. Black has some chances still, because the two pawns on the 7th rank are extremely powerful. They're even stronger than a rook. So, deep down, I kind of hope that we will go to an Armageddon, just so we can see one more game between these guys. But we might also have a decider right here. We could even see a position with two knights, depending on how the play proceeds. Mutual promotions, alright. This is what the spice of life is made of. I think this check is not very useful. Oh, I think I understand why. Okay, I don't understand why then. Because there's just queens coming on the board. Like, multiple queens. But just for black. There's tactics. Tactics makes perfect, as they say. Let's see if... Alright, Vedanta didn't pre-move it. Maybe he realized that there's some danger in the promotion. This is the moment where you should be like, where's that tactic? Let's see it. Initially, I felt there was danger for black because I thought he threw in this check so that there would be this opposition where the king is building a wall and he could play a move like this. But now it's too late. Like, the queen's on. He can't maintain this beneficial position of his own king. There's going to be a lot going on. I think that was not the best move, but that's okay. Any move is good, you know, start giving checks. I don't know why he's thinking so much. Yeah, this is the best move. and that's definitely the best move because the queens just rain down with impunity after queen takes b. I'm sorry, g7. That's a check. Yeah, we're gonna see this, like, I think it's just gonna be a queen mate, honestly. Like, there's shelter. That was not the square I would have picked, but he's probably hinging on some tactics. Okay, that rook is lost. Yeah, there we go. And it's a resignation. So we're going to the 3-minute Armageddon. I'll just confirm with the players. Now, in an Armageddon match, that means whoever has black has draw odds. Oh, wait, hold on. I think he won the match. Oh, he's got 2.5. Right, it was a win. So we don't do an Armageddon. That's too bad. That was just my wishful thinking talking. So let's do some analysis. I'm going to get in a voice channel, and hopefully everyone will hear it. I need someone to confirm that it's all heard. Let me know if or when you guys hear the sounds of Chuni and Vedanta in our secret voice channel. Alright, so Vedanta is muted, but in the channel. Hey Vedanta, could you unmute and just say something?
Hi.
Hi. Can anyone confirm that they can hear all the players? Alright, Dinesh said he can. Great. So that's awesome.
This last game, man, that was such a roller coaster.
Should we start with the last, or what do you guys want to do?
Rapid first. Let's do that.
Yeah, maybe in order. Sure.
The first rapid game, I think it's just.
Yeah, I had a winning way. I kind of didn't see it at the end. I saw it at the end.
Yeah, I actually, when I was speaking the square for the king, I had this in mind. And then for some reason, like, I looked at my time and I was like, man, I have a minute, I have to pick a square. But I had to play king b7, and I think king b7 is the only move that draws here.
It is, you're right. Are you guys looking at my screen, or are you looking at the screen yourselves?
I'm looking at the position with
At the move 37.
Yeah, but let's do it for the viewers, because you guys are talking about it and we're not on the same page. So the moment you're talking about is way late in the game. I think there are some other interesting moments, but the blunder for black is king c7. Do you guys see it?
Yeah, I see it.
What move?
Only king b7 is good.
Move 35 is where I blundered with king c7.
Yeah, king b7, this is a Ventura position with 5 extra pawns. So
yeah, king b7, I know about this. Like, the problem was I was picking the square and I looked at my time. I was like, man, I have to move. And I actually believe I had a very big problem with my time.
Welcome to the chat, Faisal, by the way.
I just on rook a8. I did that at the end. I saw.
I think you almost lost it, Vedant. Like after these moves, so rook a8 is lights out, and the reason is rook a7. This was a puzzle rush moment.
I saw that at the end. I forgot about that at the start. I just thought about king activity, but then once I did it, I'm like, wait, the pawns is too ahead. So what's the point now?
Yeah, but I think you moved the king in the wrong place though. Like if you put the king in front of my pawn.
Yeah, Vedant showed a few times in this match that he doesn't know where to put his king. So we'll talk about that.
I think in the last endgame you lost, I believe that was. I got too confident when I played rook h2 because I thought I saw your rook on.
Do you want me to go to that position?
Yeah, that was a dead loss.
Okay. So in the first game I think I equalized out of the opening, but I got too dry.
Yeah, let's actually talk about the games one by one. So the equalized position is with queen h5. I somewhat disagree with how you play the Scotch, Luis, but I'm not going to criticize. So yeah, rook takes is not that good. So you improved on it later in the match, right? You played eventually the main line.
The reason was when I did rook takes, I just wanted to see how it was. I'm not sure if it's knight takes or rook takes here.
It's
I
not.
never actually had queen h5 in my position. So I'm like, what should I do? So I just took with the rook, and then I just once it was a really dodge position, I wanted to like make it to see how it'd be with knight takes, and then takes in the blitzkrieg.
Yeah, is the thing is I only played Queen H5 in this position, so I don't know much about this position
I
specifically.
I've won in tournaments with I think all of these moves.
With Queen
Really?
D8, Queen H5, and Queen A5.
Every single one. Yeah. The only moves that
I don't
I only don't play Queen E5, Queen G5, Queen E6, and Queen C5. These are the only moves that I are in Queen B5. I think these.
Alright, so I had Queen H5 with Cess earlier, and I thought that the position was just very dry and equal.
I think there's some life. Like for instance, Knight E4 I believe is the main line.
Yeah.
I don't know if theories evolved though. So here, Bishop G5 is the main move, not Knight G5. Knight G5 is actually a mistake, but it's like Vedant's main prep. So you might want to check that out.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do here. I never actually ever had Queen H ever played.
Are you kidding me? What do people play here against you?
Normally they do this. Some players I've even seen do this.
Do they just cry? Wait, oh, I actually can't see your board. Vedant, I can't.
Never ever saw a Queen H5.
Vedant, Vedant, I can't see your moves, so you should just say them. We're not like in an analysis board, so.
Yeah.
So
Knight C3.
yeah.
And then once Queen H5, I've never ever actually ever played that.
I think it's the most common.
Yeah, the
No,
most common.
actually not with me.
The
Most
second
players
most
do
common is
Queen
Queen
on D.
H5.
Did you say they mostly do Queen D8?
Ah.
No, yeah, they do Queen D8 and Queen A.
This Queen E5? No. What do you mean?
No, they don't do Queen E5. That's just.
I mean, but if you look, Vedant, if you look on the like the opening database on Lichess.
Yeah, Lichess has a decent one, so here it is.
Yeah, this database says that here after Queen H5, White scores a 13%.
A 13% win?
Yeah, you may want
Hey,
to
Pratik.
reconsider your opening preparation.
Yeah,
13%?
yeah, it's a big draw. So
It actually increased it by some graphic game.
so here's the problem though. Like in the Scotch, it's not even like okay, it's equal because you get a rook on game or something. It's because you get like the most boring position you could possibly get.
I should have
Like
gone for a trap. I should have gone for a trap. I should have gone with the trap I showed Coach Robert.
which trap? I remember, but I just want you to tell everybody.
Which trap, yeah?
After d4, once knight f6 happens, go with g5.
Mm-hmm.
Players, knight g5. Many players go with d5. You and if d2 knight takes a pawn, then you just you could just castle first, and then you take the pawn. If bishop goes to d3, goes to e2, sorry, e7, then you just take the pawn.
Yeah.
Queen check, and then you could just crush your opponent.
Yeah, this is like a fantastic fried liver attack, right?
So with
Yeah.
knight E5.
Yeah, but knight e5 ruins it. So I don't think you should play
Yeah,
for a
that's the
trick.
thing. I've tried again. I played.
You played this against me like twice, right?
Yeah, this is a really strong opening. I've actually done this a lot, and it's really nice.
You-
Your opponent.
You should analyze our game though, because I think that I played the refutation. It's bad to play an opening with a refutation. You know, you have so many openings to choose.
Yeah.
But I think that if my opponent could get the same endgame I got against you every single time I play the Scotch Gambit, I wouldn't play it. It's too depressing. I don't know.
Switch it up.
You know, Magesh played Scotch Gambit forever when he was a junior.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Yeah.
So
The only reason I play the Scotch is because I love this trap in which a lot of players felt,
I mean,
and it was really funny.
it's tough to like love the traps and also get beat down. I don't know.
Magesh? Yeah, but Magesh loves playing these slow
Dry positions.
Yeah, he loves that. He just loves
I mean,
this.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They say, right? It's the right way.
I think when you play F4 and I should have played King C6.
F4.
Move 23 F4. I played G3. G6 was.
I'm trying to find
such
it.
a
Hold
bad
on.
move. Move 23 G6. That's a bad
Yeah,
move.
the second game was
Okay.
terrible. I'm talking about the second game right now. It was the worst because I fell actually into time trouble because of my internet. I lost the internet due to internet.
But you had a lost position when you disconnected.
Yeah, I was losing. I was
Your
completely losing.
position was destroyed by then.
Yeah, I don't know how to play that opening very well.
If you The problem is that you weren't playing a Nimso Indian. You thought you were, but you were not.
Should we skip to that game, guys?
Bishop walk to d5. I never even did bishop d5.
Okay, so to finish off the first game.
Yeah, let's do that, and we can go on to the Nimzo-ish thing.
I think the rook end game is pretty equal, but
You mean from F5?
yeah, but
I like the tactics I did though.
Could you, Chuni, you said that there was a move that was preferable here after F4, right? What was it?
after 4 move 20.
23, yeah.
23. Like if I'm gonna go into this endgame, I'd rather play bishop d5 now than do it.
Yeah, I think that's perfectly valid. I also thought you might play F6. Did you analyze this at all?
Yeah, I thought about f6 too.
What's your thought?
F6 should have been way better, honestly. Keeping just my bishop. But I think he did a very good technical move here with b3, just limiting my bishop and playing this h3 and g4.
Yeah, it's a pretty stable setup.
So I think this was where I thought I was gonna catch him in like these technical ideas, because I'm trying to like gain space on the queen side, but he did a good job to just hampering that. So I think this is the culprit. This g6 move. G6 probably just gave me a bad endgame.
Sure, but isn't c5 also technically unsound?
What happened?
I
Is
really
it-
like the one where I started just trapping your bishop, and then I gobbled up some pawns, and I went for a bit of an attack with the h pawn.
That was kind of an equalizing line, but yeah, I think that was your best bet at that point. But my question is, isn't c5 kind of not statically sound?
Yeah, that c5 move was probably not the best try.
Yeah, I think this made your task considerably harder. Otherwise, you wouldn't even be considering a move like g6 if you didn't play c5. So actually, what's the best move here? What do you guys think?
Like instead of c5, maybe pawn f6 now, or probably pawn g6.
I don't think your strategy is so bad. Like, what if you just play b5?
If I play b5,
Yeah, like
gaining space on the queen side, right?
sure, but there's no weakness.
True. So probably b5 directly, right, would be a better try.
Yeah, I think this is the case because there's never any opportunity to exploit these queenside pawns with b5. But after c5, b5's weak, d5's weak. You have to think about that. c4 is available, so you might not even see a rook endgame if you play b5.
You're right. Maybe I could have gotten b5, rook a6, a4, and break on the queen side.
Yeah, it might just be equalizing because that allows his king to get active, but it's a plan in a 10-minute game.
It's a plan in a 10-minute game. Yeah, I think this game, even though it got very dry, it had some very interesting.
Yeah, this could, the tactics was really strong at f4. Once f happened, it's a really like strong tactics if you could see it.
You mean like this part?
Yeah, f4.
Yeah, f4 and then f5, right? Oh, did you say f?
And then,
Did you?
rook goes to a8, wins.
Oh,
Yeah,
you mean this part, right? Yeah, that's right.
I actually just got into like I should play for time,
Mhm.
and then it became really hard, and then eventually I was so surprised I flagged you.
You wanna know?
I was surprised
Play,
too.
like, when you played king d2, I was like.
I think I almost fell out of my chair.
I was like, oh, he didn't see the tactic.
So you kept playing, right?
And I was like, well, maybe he's not gonna see it again. So I kept making moves. That's honestly what I thought here. Like,
That's bad though, because your position's good if you play king b7.
if I play king b7 still, right? Like,
Yeah.
I can play rook h4 and just hold everything.
I think Vedanta would keep doing the conga line thing where he just like keeps trying to come take some stuff, and you just play f5.
Yeah,
Drop.
I think he almost lost it though because of this. Like when I got f2 and I was getting skeptical.
You guys want to know something?
I was like thinking here for like 2 seconds. Should I do rook a7 or should I, and then I'm like no, but I'm not risking it.
Guys, do you see my position on the stream with the king on b7 and black just played f5?
Let me see your stream. I want to see your stream.
Yeah, you should. So I want to say something because in this position, if white loses the pawn on h7 and black loses all 3 pawns, it's still a draw. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
So
When I got flagged, I was like, man, getting flagged in a draw.
yeah, this was a sad rook endgame because even with 2 against 0, because they're A and C pawns, black should be able to hold. The pawns are too far away. Well, actually, there's a winning technique if they're very far back. So I guess it remains to be seen, but it's very challenging to win this, especially in 10 minutes. I think the technique involves advancing just the f pawn first with the king ahead in a position. Well, here I said f pawn. I mean c pawn. I was thinking back on some book. So yeah, I think if you can lead with the king and bring the c pawn as far as possible, you could win. But it's tough. Like if you ever play like a4, I think it just becomes a draw.
I mean, I was very confident that I could draw.
Yeah.
I could draw the 2 against 1, but
Practically
the
speaking,
time-
it's
the
good.
The time just got me.
You also black has to also lose all 3 pawns. So if you could like make white play a4 in the process of losing all 3 of your pawns, you could almost guarantee the draw.
No, honestly, I feel like the time pressure just got to me in this one. Like, had I played King B7 directly, I wouldn't have any sort of.
Yeah, you made a couple inaccuracies like c5 and king c7. I think that's mostly it.
Those are how to lose a game in 2 moves, right?
Yeah. Vedant, what were you saying?
Yeah, I remember like move 53. I'm like thinking, wait, try going for a dirty flag or should I just try going for a draw, a dead win by non-dirty flagging? So I'm like trying to just check.
Dirty flagging is like a shame of internet chess.
I mean, it's fine. Like,
it's part of the game. Yeah.
Part of the game, yeah.
Yeah.
I hate it though.
I just need to get faster.
Yeah, you thought for like 3 minutes a couple times in like all the games.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Should we go to the next game?
Yeah, let's go to the next game.
Yeah.
Because I believe
the opening prep. Help me, I need the opening prep.
I believe you just didn't know what you were doing though.
Did I click on the wrong one? No, here we are. So this was like a Rogozin, but not a good one, right?
Yeah.
I did not play this game good.
Chuni or Vedant, do you think you guys could explain why this is not a good move order for the viewers?
Okay, in the Rogozin, after bishop g5, people don't castle.
So you mean like after d5, knight c3, bishop b4, bishop g5, we get exactly the Rogozin, right?
Yeah.
And you say people don't castle? Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So do you think that white is slightly better, or is it like is still
I feel
okay?
that after c5, black should equalize.
Like c5 right now?
Yeah, that is the move.
It's coming in hot.
This is.
It might be the best move. Let me check the. I accidentally did training. Sorry, guys. But like white is scoring better across the board.
Yeah, they are. They play h6 and then c5.
In fact, c5 is not a well played move. I think c5 is kind of suspicious. Like I was thinking with c5 that they'll just take on d5 right away and play like.
Some sort of IQP, right?
I was thinking either IQP or maybe you could break really fast with e4 and just do shenanigans. But I think that d takes is necessary to threaten queen a4. At which point you could maybe break with e4 and play bishop b5, knight e5 too. So if you can like make them give up the bishop pair, I feel like it's good. But this is just me not knowing theory. So
I just believe that okay, the opening is fine after castle. It's okay. Like you could play knight bd7, c6, queen a4, and play some sort of, queen a5 and play some sort of Cambridge springs.
Oh, you want to play c6 here instead of like rook e8?
Yeah, like
Why is this
knight
on?
bd7, c6, queen a5, and play some sort of Cambridge spring, right?
Yeah, but I don't think there's enough time. Like usually with Cambridge springs, white is not going to castle in time.
Yeah. Well, black is also not castled in the Cambridge springs, so it's kind of tricky. So we'll be behind a tempo in the Cambridge. Like castling would be introduced while white gets to castle too, so it would be tricky to do that too. Or maybe knight bd7, c6, and like wait for me to try to kick the bishop from.
Would you take on c4 or play c6 directly?
Or take on c4 and play c6.
This
Okay.
game was really weird because I don't remember what move 16 I completely disconnected. Like access it kept saying reconnecting, my stream ended.
Yeah, it's because when you're streaming, it takes a lot of data, and you might need to either streamline your settings or not do both. I'm not sure.
Brother, he was watching the stream, and then he completely disconnected.
Oh, it's your house Wi-Fi.
Alright,
Yeah, it's my house.
so after e3 rook e8, I think this is an accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rook e8 would be entering novelty territory. It's only been played twice on Leech's database. So
I think one of the main ideas for black is to eventually get a knight on e4 and play f5. Is that accurate, or?
so there's two moves that have been played in this position. It's either rook c1, which I thought about after I played c takes d4.
You mean rook e8, rook c1?
Rook ac1, yeah.
Okay.
After I took on d5, I was like, wait, why didn't I bring the rook? Or play queen c2, because I'm supposed to just get my pieces going without taking on d5, just to see what are you doing, how you're gonna plan to move your c pawns.
Yeah, like maybe he won't be able to get c5 in because he'll be provoked to play c6, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. So when I took on d5, I kind of felt bad for a second, but I was like, okay, it's still a game, and I'm ahead in development.
I was like, oh, Chuni's very confident in this pawn structure.
Yeah.
It's like you want a minority attack. Yeah,
no,
you guys
I
both
think
did.
Here, after c5, castles, c4 is a bad.
Yeah,
bad move.
this is a blunder. I think you should accept an IQP maybe.
Yeah, after
Yeah, c7 is terrible.
after c4, there's a very similar game after bishop c2 between Pillsbury as white and Marco as black.
I've seen that
They
game.
look- Yeah, Pillsbury Marco isn't that game
If we had more time, I'd pull it up, but I know you're in a rush.
yeah on a book. There's this book called Understanding Chess Move by Ivan Chernev.
Mhm.
I think it's game 14. I believe it's game 14.
I think it's also an Assaultus book.
Yeah, and Pillsbury has the same structure here, and he unleashes some sort of kingside attack. And I think
Yeah.
already from here you have an unfavorable.
He released the Kraken with like 95 f4, queen f3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we played a similar idea. After h6, I thought for a little bit to like retreat my bishop.
But why would you bring it inside the pawn chain?
Yeah, but I don't want to come back to the pawn chain.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should play bishop h4 and then just stay there. I think that's what you were talking about, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about that, to play bishop h4 and then play g4 and g5. But I thought that I was gonna need the bishop anyway, so
I think your position's so good that you don't really need to play g4, g5. But
yeah, so I ended up taking and playing queen f3, and now this is the truth about the setup where black goes in the early c4 is that we have a race for kingside and queenside, but I'm arriving way too fast on the king side.
I thought black's best bet was bishop c3, pawn c3, and then knight e4. What do you think?
Well, I'll just
I agree.
bishop C3,
Actually,
pawn c3, knight e4.
yeah, I still think it's good.
I think I could just take it, right?
And then pawn takes,
And then queen takes f6, and then queen d5 check.
bishop e6.
Okay.
That's the spice.
Now everybody's hit, right?
Yeah. So probably you should take and then not take on e4. Just like enjoy the structure, like play queen h5.
Yeah, I could probably sidestep and hop on queen h3, right? And
Yeah.
play g4.
I thought queen h5 because the bishop's there, but yeah, it's the same idea.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, we do a little 1-2-0 with queen h5, and I think that white is in good
Yeah,
shape.
Yeah, if anybody's winning, is white, right?
Yeah, the end game's good with d4 actually. So okay, so
Yeah,
that's this game.
Very good for opening lessons.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I don't think it's so much of an opening lesson. I think the middle game here is the one that is
Yeah.
valid.
It's the
Okay,
ideas.
Um,
So let's see the 5-minute game because I think this one, the rest is like some blunders, and we already talked about it on
but
stream.
The last game was terrible. Let's look at the second game, the draw. I think I did sacrificing.
The last game was terrible. You said. I thought there were
Yeah,
some moments maybe.
I lost.
Oh, okay. I mean, we have to analyze the games that we lose, especially.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Okay, so this one you went for kind of a fortunate draw here, but I think your opening choice was kind of weird.
Is e5 okay? Like, I don't really know this stuff, so you'll have to fill me in.
No, I just did this because last game I didn't have a good thing, and I've seen and I read a book. Well, I'm reading a book about how I went for a bit of developing. And
Okay.
then I just like here I'm like thinking I just have to sack and start going for an attack here.
Mhm.
Because this position, I think at move 16, I think it was okay. At move 17, everything was okay.
You have a lot of counterplay on move 16.
Yeah.
Move 16, I wasn't the happiest person in the world.
I think you're better though. I thought you would play knight f3 and just say like I don't care about anything in this world after bishop
Oh,
a6.
that's why I ended up doing when I talked that like.
But
long
bishop
game.
c4, right?
Yeah, to play bishop c4, it's like if I play knight e2, you can play rook or castles, rook d8,
But
check.
but
King
knight
e3,
f3 is better.
Knight d3, and if you put that knight on d3, I don't know.
I agree, but if you play knight f3, is that even happening? Like knight e5 guards d3. It comes with tempo, so if they play f6, you just get like a really amazing version.
So if I play knight f3, knight d3,
Yeah.
so knight f3 instead of bishop c4, knight f3, knight d3, rook d3.
I'm like tempted to second exchange.
Actually, that might. Oh wait, hold on. Knight takes e. No, I cannot play knight e5.
Yeah, the knight's guarding it, but knight g5. I guess there's f6, and then no, knight e6 would come in. Maybe knight g5. Like you just say I don't care about anything, as usual.
Just knight g5.
Yeah, I'm an expert at not caring. In case you guys.
Yeah, and then long castles. Check.
Long castle, and then you just like move your rook. I think move the rook.
Oh, move the rook.
Oh,
so
knight
rook c3, right?
Yeah, but then knight f2 is check, right? So maybe I was thinking like just give it up and then play knight f7, but I'm a little unsure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess this pass pawn's just not strong enough. Like the knight is trapped, but you're gonna have to waste like 3 moves to take it. So, all right. So let's say it's not knight g5. Okay, we just play like rook c3. Is this okay? Is this kosher? We're threatening something.
Knight f2.
Knight f2 is maybe not so good.
Knight f2, knight e5, right? That's your idea.
I was thinking rook e1 first and just like threaten all that because knight e4 is a double attack.
Knight
So
f2 is not doing so high, right?
yeah, rook e1 is
So
pretty spicy.
Probably knight f3 directly would have been a better try. Yeah.
It's very complicated, but I thought the complications favored white.
Yeah, I also thought that honestly.
But you
That's
chickened
why
out a little bit, or
I took a long time here, just because I feel like the game was gonna be decided on this move, whether it gets my way or your way.
bishop c4 is too clear. I think if things are going to be unclear, you should go all in with a developing move. Like these are the bad pieces: rook h1, knight g1.
Yeah, so if I play knight f3, knight d3, I should just play rook c3, and after castles, just.
And you know what? If you don't like it, you can not put a ring on it by playing knight h3. No knight f2, and then you just move your rooks around. You know, make little crop circles.
For a quick second too, but I just didn't see like if he plays h6, where was my knight gonna go?
F4. You play f4, and the knight's alive.
Oh, you're right.
You could also do some wild, off-the-wall nonsense with g4.
So yeah, bishop c4 is the typical move you play after you. You look at every option.
Yeah. You think for 15 minutes and blunder. That's how it goes in this life, right?
Yeah.
I thought you would also play king e3 instead of king e2.
So bishop c4, king e2.
Yeah, we can keep going with the actual game since I think we're time limited. So
rook take, and knight f3.
You took 2 moves to get the king on e3, so that was maybe not so good.
Yeah.
You'd have this position with white to play with knight on f3.
Yeah.
Probably the king on e3 was better. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, rook d5 gave me a little chuckle because we've talked about putting a rook on d5 a few times.
Yeah, I mean, it's the typical move where you like make a rook stand up, and somebody says, "Okay, we're gonna trade or retreat on this square."
Yeah, I wondered if you guys were gonna play this rook endgame. I mean, you didn't, but there was potential.
Move 27.
What was it? Oh yeah, that's right. So you should not let this happen.
I think on king d6 instead of c7, I should have just played knight e4 directly, right? Like,
No, this is a huge mistake at 27. You could have just done knight on a c3 check and with my rook.
Knight c3. Oh, knight c4.
Quick win.
But how does it win the rook? I'm not seeing it.
I moved 27.
Oh, I'm on the wrong move. So you said, oh yeah, knight c4, but
knight e4, knight c3.
Yeah, knight c3 just wins the queen. The rook, sorry.
Oh yeah, king d5 was big. that's true.
Yeah.
I didn't even react to that on stream actually.
But I honestly, yeah, because here I thought you were gonna just lose the knight. Honestly, like I was looking at this position, I played knight e4, and I was like, okay, he's gonna have to give up the knight. And probably my subconscious like saw the fork, but I did. I was looking forward, not backwards. But yeah, knight c3 just wins on the spot.
Yeah, actually, I thought your judgment was really off when you played the sequence, because I was like, does Chuni want this rook on h7? Does he want the 3 versus 2 on the king side and the 1 outside pass pawn? I just thought that maybe you misjudged this.
But he already enter in the 1 minute realm.
That's true, but like when you're calculating the sequence, you should. I think you should see that a rook endgame's coming, right?
Here's the problem, and right at this moment, I stopped thinking. Like I'm just.
You thought the piece is hanging. I'm gonna cruise, that kind of thing.
No, I'm just pushing. Like I'm not really playing.
Oh, like autopilot.
With my mind. Like I'm just making moves. So this is like the biggest problem of Blitz is that sometimes you get into this crazy mindset.
Yeah. This was a really weird game.
Let's bang out the last game.
Okay, the last game I think
Was really strong.
We had a repeat showing, but with knight e4 and knight g5, which is kind of similar to Vedant's pet line with knight g5 in the other position.
Which is actually stronger, and I thought that my position was very good, but I misplayed it somewhere.
Bishop g5 is the main move, as we said earlier, but I think knight g5 is a candidate.
So, at knight g5 was that bad move? Knight g5. I
Yeah.
should have done g5 to stop casting.
Yeah, I agree.
So when I play bishop d6 and then rook e8, I thought my position was super good.
It was.
But maybe
I think you could do better though.
maybe h6 g5 was the wrong plan.
Yeah, I said that on stream. Let's just hit that part because this is all theory stuff and we shouldn't worry so much. h6 is very slow because it takes 4 moves for you to get in g4, and then if he plays like knight h2, you actually just lose the pawn.
Yeah. So this is just a bad plan, bro.
Yeah. So what should the plan
I
be?
have queen e5, so it's
knight takes g4, hits the queen, and protects h2.
It protects.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a cute idea though.
Knight h2 is nice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just show it on the board for everyone. So the idea here, let's just say that Vedant plays the same like normal, and you play, for example, a developing move like rook c1. Maybe that's a bad move, and we should improve the bishop. But after g4, there's knight h2. I guess you could play bishop takes h2, king takes h2, but then you still have to resolve this issue with the g pawn. The thing that we were looking at is that the pawn's pinned, and the refutation for queen e5. Actually, if we play like this, the bishop is guarding e5. But like let's say he played a move like not developing this bishop, or maybe he plays like a repeat move like bishop e1 or something. After the sequence, queen e5 threatens mate, but knight g4 guards the mate and takes the pawn. Also, queen g4 is check, so there's options here.
So in the position where he went c3, it's something hit my mind here. Instead of dc3, which was the move I played,
Play d3.
activating his bishop, maybe pawn d3 is not a joke.
It's not a joke, I think. I think you're onto something, because he also can't take it. You can play rook d8, and then he has to.
No, and the crazy part is like, let's say, okay, I play pawn d3 on move 16. Vedant.
Yeah, I'm there.
Did he leave?
Oh,
No, I'm still
no,
here.
I think he's listening.
Okay, so okay, in move 16, if I play d3, I think you might be entering some dark waters here.
Wait, 3? Yeah, and then the computer says bishop e3, and that's what I would have played, because I was thinking.
You're checking the computer already? We're doing a postmortem. Come on, you should at least analyze with your brain first. The computer should always come last if you want to improve.
I'm pretty sure I made like 100 mistakes already, so it's like tricky to look at the computer.
Yeah.
But here, if you play bishop e3, this shines my idea essentially. Like I wanted to play knight e5.
Yeah, knight e5. Yeah, that would make sense, but in this position, I feel like I'm like the reason bishop e3 is good is because I'm getting my knight also. I can maneuver my knight to c4.
But the knight's not going to exist in a second, right?
Yeah, that's the problem.
No, wait, I'm talking about move 16, move 17, bishop e3. If you do knight e5,
Yeah, I'm in that position. You see it on my board, right?
Yeah, I see.
yeah, and then maybe I could just do knight goes to d2.
Knight d2.
But this is like quite favorable for black, right?
Yeah.
This is some very dark waters. Man.
Even if you can get your knight on c4, I don't see why this would be good for you. Like, let's say I play c5. Even this, I don't know if this is really a good move. I'm just trying to push here.
No, I was thinking of just trying to take the bishop because the bishop.
How? Knight e4?
Yeah, versus knight endgame, and it's
Knight e4.
really open.
Okay,
So
so
I would have been favorable. No.
I don't think it's favorable.
I don't think I agree. Yeah. And honestly, this is an opposite side castling position where black has grabbed the initiative here. Like, this pawn on d3 is annoying.
You're gonna have to struggle for it.
Maybe I could play like queen f5 right on this position. Like after knight d2, queen f5.
Where? Hold on, I'm confused about queen f5 because I thought we were doing the endgame just now.
E3,
Okay.
e3, knight e5, knight
Yeah.
d2, queen f5.
Queen f5. Okay. Just to keep an eye on the pawn, play like queen h7, g5, g4.
Yeah, g5, g4, and let's go. We're opposite side castling. I could play probably some knight f3, queen h3 idea after I break on g4.
Yeah, shenanigans. There's all kinds of things happening up.
Yeah.
I think rook d8 is also strong because the pawn's a long-term feature on d3 now. It just can't go away. So we just, protect it. Play c5, like b6, c5, c4 maybe.
So yeah, move 16, c3, dc3. I kind of played it in a whim, but it looks like it's a true decision there.
I called this as equal on stream. What do you think?
This is equal?
I called it as
D3?
equal. No, after dc3, like what you said.
dc3 is equal, yeah.
d3 looks like there's a nagging edge for black. I'm not confident that it's winning, but I think it's like black is in the driver's seat.
Yeah.
But after g5, knight d4, the thread's kind of lost.
Where? d4?
Yeah, move 18 in the game line. I think
Alright.
the thread's kind of lost already here with knight d4.
Oh yeah, after knight d4, I'm just sad here because I can't get anything going. I
Yeah.
thought about like coming back with the queen, but
No, this was miserable.
Knight takes c6 is.
I think that you played the best sequence by just going to the rook endgame. I know it's a drawn rook endgame, but since it's slightly asymmetrical, there's a minor chance. Like,
Yeah, and I also believe that in the rook endgame here, when I played a4, man, I blew this one.
you were winning so much in this
blew it.
position.
Yeah, like this one is so win. I just have to play king b4, king b3, win.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking actually.
And here I play rook h2.
I like slapped my forehead when you played rook h2.
Bro, it's like the only move that I just need to get my king out of there.
Yeah, it's
right now. Like if I play, even if I play the move b4, I'm probably still doing okay. But here, if I play the move king c4, king d4.
Wait, hold on.
King b4.
Where do you mean? You mean king b4 on move 33?
Yeah, move 33 instead of rook h2, king b4. I think I'm just cruising.
Yeah, I agree. I actually thought this was your plan. Like when I saw you play king c7, I was like, okay, Chuni knows how to move his king, and I thought you were gonna just like waltz in here, and I was.
Yeah, I was about to resign here, to be honest.
Honestly, after a4, I have this tactic. I'm so.
A4.
I saw the tactic right after I played king c4.
What a?
Yeah, just rook c4, rook take a4, and just take the pawn.
Oh, you mean after? Wait, where? Where do you mean?
After where move 30.
Okay, move 30 a4.
A4. I could play rook c4.
Yeah, you just take it for free, right? But I actually think this is less strong than pawn b4.
Pawn b4, you think is stronger?
Yeah, I do. I mean,
Okay, but
maybe not because a pass pawn is a pass pawn.
alright, but here rook h2 is just horrendous.
Rook c4, king f5, rook a4, king g6 looks like counterplay to me. I don't like that. That's why.
Yeah, but king b4 on move 33 is lights out.
Yeah.
This rook on a2 is very sorry, I think. Matter of fact, I think I can trap it.
Yeah, it's trapped. you
I think I can play.
can play rook c1 if he doesn't bail out fast enough.
Yeah, I can play rook c1 and then king b3.
Yeah, let's say he goes for the pawn with king f5, king b3. Well, rook a1 is forced, so you play rook c1 first.
To be honest, I'm just completely losing here.
You could play b3 to bail, but king b3 is like smashed down. You know,
So
it's
this has
over.
been my story lately. Like, I took less than a second to blunder my rook.
That's true. Actually, I commented on like the few times when you took like 2 seconds to make a move. There was not that many, and there were usually some suspicious moments. Like I think when White played G4 in the first game, you instantly responded, and I was like, "Oh, okay, Chuni's ready for G4." I would not have expected.
No, like I played G6. I played G6 against and then immediately had this feeling like, man, this is such a terrible move.
Yeah.
But honestly, I was very unhappy with my play today. Even though I'm like, I know this is kind of like bad to say because I won the match.
No, Carlson says the same thing in similar situations, and I think he was right, and I think you're right. We could just do better. I think your rook end games.
I believe there's so many situations in these games that I could have just not to say Vedanta play very well.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just that there is so many moments that I could have just grabbed the advantage and held on forever. You know,
Yeah.
like that
This
move.
was very suspicious for me. I knew that King A was this one.
I have a question for Vedanta. So on move 44 in the final game, I thought you played rook h3 so that you would have a mate threat.
Yeah,
But then you tried to promote the pawn. And I was really confused. Did you notice that?
When he played G7, I was like,
kind of missed it. I kind of missed the King was there, to be honest.
There's an idea here. So I thought you would play like rook h8, threatening mate.
me
Uh,
too.
Yeah, I should have.
I can either promote to a giraffe, which is illegal, or I can play king to a5.
A5, yeah.
So then king c5 happens, right? And this is a draw, I think.
This should be a draw.
I didn't analyze it deeply though.
I think he shouldn't have let my king just waltz in like that. Like he
But
tried to bring his king over, but he brought it the wrong way. I think.
but like hold up. So but guys, if the king runs to a7, where's the draw? I feel like there might be a draw here, but I think you might have to play rook h7 at the last second. Like when the king runs to c6, you play rook h7 check, put the king back on a6, and then play rook
But
h8.
I feel like he missed the idea. He missed the idea of a1.
a1 queen.
But can't he
Queen,
just
yeah.
promote here? Can't he just promote? What should you?
No, hold on. Where do you mean? Like do you mean
King A6 wins, right?
king a6? No, king c6,
Yeah, and-
threatening mate again.
It's a draw. It's a draw. Yeah, that's a draw.
Yeah.
There's me with your king.
Actually, here's an idea. What if we play king a5, king c5, king a4, king c4, king a3, king c3, and then make a knight.
Yeah.
This might be the spice of life. I saw this during the stream for a second. I was like, oh, there's a variation where you might get two knights.
Yeah.
Like here, they have to do this.
But in the practical game, Vedanta was already like he probably thought he was winning eventually,
Yeah.
and then he sees like this is the psychological power of chess. Like you think you're winning, and then you see the move b2 played.
And then you hold your head. And,
It's like someone shattered your dream. You're like, I'm winning.
oh yeah,
No.
I'm used to having my dreams shattered, so this is why I play chess.
Sometimes there's justice in chess. Like I blunder my rook so grossly
Yeah.
that I managed to still get the game back.
Yeah. I didn't
However-
play the end game though.
Yeah.
However, again, I think my form can use some better work.
Well, I'm here as a training partner. You guys just never call on me.
You should do a stream. You should do a stream where you talk about a king and the king goes to wrong squares.
I already did that. You should watch it. It's on YouTube.
Well,
It's there.
There's one big thing. Like here, I think Vedanta's main weakness didn't show in middle games or openings actually.
Mostly endgame.
That's the end game.
I think I managed to do a good job to just bring you to these end games where I know slightly better.
Yeah.
What to do.
During the stream, I was like, if Chuni could just play my openings for me, I'd love to play his endgames.
Right.
I think even like
You should have
Equalville
a
ones.
stream.
Yeah.
You should, Coach Robert, you should do fan battle streams a lot.
Yeah, I'd like to. We actually already have one lined up, kind of.
And this is your longest stream. This is your longest stream you did.
No, it's not. How long have I been on?
1 hour 38 minutes.
Nah, I've streamed for like 3 or 4 hours before. I just don't have time lately.
You have?
Yeah, like
You have?
check my
That's cool.
my instructional streams. I stayed on as long as people wanted to see another example for a bunch of them. Um,
Oh wow,
This
cool.
this often happens that I'm able to get these very good end games. It's like it happens naturally for me. I
mhm.
don't know. I think Robert's games just take a very wild direction every single time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
if I just whip out like the last game I played, it's probably a complete. I don't have nice words for it on the air. You know what I mean? Like it's.
yeah, so like we always been having this debate between me and Robert. Even while training,
Yeah.
like I'll be picking moves and Robert's like, but why? It's like I don't know. They just feel right. It's like what is that feeling?
The feeling is the most important thing. Always trust your guts and you will.
Oh, here's my last game. It's ugly. Look at this.
All
Um,
right, let me go look at it.
yeah. So
Okay.
I was not even dirty flagging. The guy just got sad and left. I think. So I did this Grunfeld where I didn't play knight f6, so I was able to play c6. And believe it or not, I prepared this. Yeah, I know. I did an opening one time. So I made a triangle, and then things got spicy at this moment because I realized I made a mistake by putting the bishop on g7 in the structure. Like I should have played like this part's fine, but I think I should have set up my pieces differently. I guess is what I'm saying. Now that the bishop's on g7, it makes sense to have this set up sometimes, but like not anymore. So I was like, I looked at the clock, and I was like, well, it's time to put the bishop where it belongs. And so white got all this stuff, right? So like, how am I supposed to grind to an endgame from positions like this where
I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
that's rough.
I played c5. I was like, get at me, sir. And then I did all these initiative-y things. And actually, I did manage to do a little grind down, but it was only by allowing my opponent to do stuff like this. It's not like I did the trade. It's kind of I let them do
Yeah,
stuff.
I follow what you mean.
It was
Yeah.
very shenanigan-y. Like, here comes more
Do
shenanigans.
opening repertoires about really crazy openings.
Oh yeah, I have the dumbest openings. Like recently, I've been playing A6 and beating like 2,300 players with it. Yeah, because I just don't have a care in the world anymore.
But Robert,
Yeah.
I think that maybe picking a very similar repertoire to mine and getting to these end games would be an interesting try. Like,
I'm working on it. I'm learning Semi-Slav, which is not like exactly what you play, but it has a similar character.
yeah, I mean, honestly, my best games lately have been with the black pieces,
Hmm.
and
Same.
and it's just that I feel like a lot of people just try too much. They try too hard.
Like
Yeah.
like me.
Okay.
I-
I guess so, Robert.
I'm gonna try hard.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm a try hard too. It's just that I try hard in a more subtle way. You
Yeah.
know, like
I just try to like out brain power people like a computer. I'm like, okay, you're gonna have an overflow error if you keep trying to calculate what I'm doing, and
Yeah.
but that's not the right way to play chess. So, all right,
Yeah, like-
this was pretty good. Do you guys want to
Yeah.
wrap it up or?
yeah, I think
Yeah.
this should be fine.
Yeah, it was fun. You should host these every day,
this is
and then
good.
not every week, like 2
You,
weeks.
you said every day. I was like, okay.
This is good. At least I feel fine that the only game I lost was because I
Was
got
with your
packed. Because it wasn't time and not because I just blundered a rook on h2. Like it's fine.
Oh, I'm kind of happy with my score against 100 USDF rating.
Against whom?
Huh?
Against whom did you say? I didn't understand.
An 1800, 1400, and 2.5 is still pretty good.
Oh yeah.
But I'm pretty sure you're not gonna be 1300 once like you play one more tournament.
I don't think any of us are gonna have like reasonable
No.
ratings when we come back. Like I'm probably gonna cross 2,200 when I come back. And
Yeah.
Chuni, I don't know where you're gonna be. Like at least 2,000 something.
I'm
Vedanta, you're
pretty
doing
sure
well.
I'll be somewhere around 2000. However, I think I am classical games are just a complete different monster. You know, Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's my forte. So I feel like training blitz is not very good.
I also believe that, given the fact that I'm taking so long to move, classical games are also my forte.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I went
And
against so my that he won against a grandmaster with a6.
Yeah, I saw that. I feel like
I
Mahir is
was
very
looking at
suspicious.
Enam with e3 as white, and the checkmate was the best. Like I was laughing. I was like really laughing because the checkmate was just crazy.
so Sam Sevian played Knight f3 against Brandon Jacobson in the
Yeah.
U.S. Junior Championship,
Hmm.
and Jacobson played like d5, Knight d7, Knight b6.
Yeah, Brandon is so funny. I've played Brandon a lot of times, and
Like
our games are so wild.
he won, and he beat Sam Sevian
Hmm.
very convincingly in that game.
His prep's really good. He plays like really shady stuff, but it it makes sense for one game at least. You know.
I mean, beating one of the top U.S. grandmasters with Knight d7, Knight b6.
I saw the funniest game with him. So we were we were messing around at the New Jersey Open like maybe 3 years ago, and I think going to the final round, he got paired against James West, who
Bro,
you know, yeah. And actually, no, it was not the final round. It was like just the evening round or something. And so James, being the great national master that he is, starts with b3, and and Brandon plays a5, and then James West is like, with his sweater, and then he plays bishop e2, and Brandon plays a4. Like, let's go. I also played this line, and there's a book on it by a guy, not Andriasian, I don't remember, some Russian guy. He's an IM. He did a book called like Play B3, and I think he did a sequel called Play B3 and B6 or something like that. So there's this A5 A4 line in the book, and it's apparently not losing. So if you play B3 and people can play A5 A4 against you without losing, I feel like you should pick a new opening. So
Yeah, that's why I feel like so strong between a d4 and e4, because you cannot really mess around with your opening principles.
yeah, I agree. It's
Like,
kind of like you get an idea what kind of struggle you're gonna get. It's gonna
my
be
hair
sharp.
is saying that he beat Coach Arun, but it was a simul.
I saw Arun got wiped in one simul. Yeah, he like lost all games in one simul.
Yeah, I was wondering what was going on there.
Maybe he had like connection difficulty or something. I don't know. Because
Or it probably wasn't his day.
Arun's no chump, right? Yeah, and he has a channel. You guys should check out his channel.
I played Arun. He had like 20 seconds against 5 minutes, and he destroyed me.
Yeah, it looks like the pieces are just flying out of his sleeves, right? He's just moving too fast.
He just wrecked me.
Yeah, I remember like it was 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I was 700.
Hmm. I remember those days.
Coach Mangesh, he had like 20 seconds, and I had like 3 or 5 minutes.
There was this.
Like a lot of, there were like a lot of people who were playing, and almost all of them, well, some won, but most lost. So when I played, I was like I played like a normal player, like slowly, and when I looked at him, it was like pieces are flying out of nowhere.
There was this one time that went very early on in my chess career, which is now kind of like I'm not coaching anymore. So early on, I was training with Magesh because I was the first employee at Kings and Queens, and so I went through coach training, and basically no one else ever has. So part of the training was we went to New York together for this camp, and we went like everywhere together for that, and the at this camp I was playing these kids who wanted time odds, and they wanted like more and more time odds every time we played. And so in the end, I was playing with 2 seconds for each game, and there was like this bet. I forget what it was. It was like I had to give them some awesome prize if they could beat me when I had 2 seconds only. And so I was like so stressed out because I also had black and no queen, and we were like just throwing the pieces down, and I would start moving like before they did anything because there's just no way. But somehow I didn't lose any games, and I played like 30 games like that. So it was kind of a funny situation.
I mean, I think the time I played the most games at once was that time we played like 40 games at the park.
Oh yeah, that was a great event. Chess in the Park at what's it called? Buchloich Park? No, it's River Road Park. Oh, Johnson Park. Yeah, you're right. In New Brunswick. It's gonna be a long time before I'm there ever again.
Right, like
Yeah, I moved to another planet, so here we are.
another planet.
Yeah,
Louisiana.
yeah. Louisiana is basically another planet compared to New Jersey. The, early on when I got here, I got my car serviced because it was a long drive, and the guy that I met at the service station was like a young guy, and he had to drive me back to my house while my car was getting serviced, and we got to talking, and he was like, "Oh, they talk real different out here in Baton Rouge because it's the city." I was like, "Oh, really? What do you mean?" And he was like, "Well, do you know what like lit means?" And I was like, "No, tell me." And so I got this guy to like explain all of the slang that has been in New Jersey for like 10 years to me, because apparently it like just reached here in Baton Rouge, and out in the country they don't talk like that. So it's really like I'm in another world that's like basically 2010, and there's no chess here. So I think I'm the best player in the state. No, it's not that there's no chess. It's just like, with COVID, everything's low, and I think I'm like the top player in the state. So if the tournaments start, I'll play, but I don't know. I got a lot of work to do as well.
Coach Robert, I
Yeah.
just got a really good idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to see Coach Luis against my hitter.
In bullet only. How am I gonna give commentary? I'm gonna be just like talking like.
I'm gonna lose every game.
No, 8 games. I really want to see it. It's gonna be so fun.
I hate bullet. I don't want to commentate
I
bullet.
hate bullet too.
I'll commentate 3 minute,
Coach
but
Robert versus Coach Luis.
oh man, that's the age-old rivalry, right? Everybody wants to see the coaches play.
Yeah, and I'm giving live commentary.
But we've played like 50 something times. I don't know. I feel like it's too much for us.
Yeah, we've been playing for a long time.
Both of you.
Nah, but there was this time I feel like really proud of myself and actually very grateful that I met Robert in like chess terms, because I remember Robert used to come to the Rutgers Chess Club, and at the time my rating was like 1300, 1400, so whatever.
Good old days.
And Robert would just show up and beat me every single game back to back to back to back to back. And I was like, one more. But eventually, that's how you get good. Just gotta get the beatings going.
I didn't even remember that I beat you that many times, because I like never remember. But I do remember us having like really good analysis. Like when we read what was that book? Fisher's book, My 60 Memorable Games. We read that together at Rutgers Chess. That was really good.
Yeah, we also read what is it? Principles of Chess Strategy by Alexei Kosakov.
Yeah, that was an odd book, but it was good. It was kind of like a case study just on opposite colored bishops.
Yeah, opposite color bishops and knight versus bishops, and like how to play the middle game of opposite color bishops. It got crazy.
Yeah. And by the way, anyone who's local to New Brunswick or Piscataway or whatever, you should drop into the Rutgers Chess Club when, the world's not burning to the ground.
Yeah, I think I'm going back eventually and visiting the boys.
Yeah, I might try to like do some mentoring stuff for them, like what I used to do, but remotely. I think that, hold on, who was saying something? So Yeatermaster says that he and Amog should play, and I completely agree. I think that will be our next matchup. What's that?
The winner will become Eater. Will become the
Yeah, we will decide the one true Yeater.
The yeet?
This yeet thing is too much.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's always bittersweet in chess, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Or in life.
ended up winning the match, but also at the same time not happy with the way I played it.
But that's good. We get a reality check, right?
Right. No, honestly, this happens a lot to me that what was this time? I played this event, the Rutgers Friday nights. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
and I won.
How could I forget? Yeah.
I won clear first. I won two nice games, and then in the last game, I ended up just butchering a good position.
Was it against George?
Wait, isn't that chocolate? Wow.
No, against Aaaand actually.
Oh, okay.
And like I ended up butchering a winning position into a draw, and I remember we went to the bar after, and I just felt bad. Like I won first place, I pocketed the money, and we left. And I feel bad about that draw. I just butchered that good position, you know.
Yeah, I always feel bad. Like even when I win, it just doesn't sit in for me.
But yeah, but I think that is asking more of yourself is always a good thing to do.
I think there's a limit because I take it to its logical extreme and I'm like depressed. So
Yeah,
there's some limits.
it's always nice to be have a limit. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
The game
you have a
is,
good
I
balance.
remember,
Go ahead.
But I remember I saw this game. It was really funny, cause Blackie started sacking a lot of pieces. He sacked both of his rooks.
Okay.
And the opponent, it was Vince. The opponent was like, "What's going on?" And he spent all of his time wondering what's the tactic.
And then he lost or what?
When you said double rook sacrifice, I thought about Alexei Shirov against Kramnik.
No.
And that
It was, I saw this game. So it was like a real life game when COVID wasn't even a.
It was a recent game.
Yeah, it was a real like a tournament game, and I'm like, it was 5 minutes for both players. One of the players, he started sacking his rooks, sacked 2 rooks and a knight, and the opponent, the opponent was an 800. He was playing against a 1800. So the opponent was like, "What's going on?" And he started thinking about it for like 4 minutes until he realized he's low on time and he lost on time.
What?
I hate it when that happens.
That sounds like that would be me.
Actually, yeah, like at a cherry blossom a little bit, right? Do you remember?
Yeah, that would be me.
Coach Robert, show the game in which I checkmated his NM with literally, where he was literally, his king got trapped. It was equal material, and the first move I made a mouse left.
You should analyze it on your stream. You should do a game commentary.
Yeah.
I'll try to show up if you just tell me like in advance when it will be.
Yep.
You know what, guys?
Says his goal is to be a Moog in 69 moves.
In 69 moves exactly, he's going to get a winning position in 4 moves, and then he's going to like draw it out for exactly the 69 move mate. A Moog always is like under attack by the bishops, so look out, a Moog. All right, I think we should wrap it up here. This is good, and we will do this again pretty soon. It seems like because Yeater Master and a Moog are going to fight head to head to become the one true Yeater.
Fight,
Yeah, exactly. We're all going to chant for like 4 hours while they fight. No, just kidding. So, all right, yeah. Are you ready to rumble? All right, so I think we should wrap it up, and I'm gonna click that stop stream button. So thanks for coming, guys.